Well, today we're going to get right into it. We're going to go back to the Linux Mint user manual. Today we're talking chapter 2, the Snap Store. Before I get into it, I'm going to clear up a couple things. The manual, the more I read it, the more I realize that it's written by not writers. By that I mean most manuals that are written out there in the corporate world, in the free world, in the not so free corporate world, are written by copywriters and edited by copy editors. And their job is to document things in such a way that it is precise, accurate, and coherent. But that doesn't necessarily happen with the Linux Mint manuals. So that keep that in mind as I struggle through the Linux Mint user manual. The Snap Store. So you guys can read along. I'm going to end up paraphrasing most of this anyway. The Snap Store, if you type in the Snap Store into Brave or the Ubuntu Store, you're going to get directed to this. And in the manual, if anybody, I didn't know there was a manual. I've been using Linux Mint for 5 years, and I didn't know there was a manual. So here it is. When Linux Mint launched version 20, they stopped using the Snap Store, or stopped putting it in their downloadable packages. And the reason that they stopped using it was because of this centralized control. Now, centralized control, this sounds like something that you really don't want. And that's one of the reasons why you moved to Linux to start with, is to decentralize your computing experience, whereas you're in control and not someone, or some entity on the other end of the internet. So they removed it. Well, they didn't really remove it. See, this is the thing. So Linux Mint, being a free and open source operating system, can't very well criticize Canonical and Snap Store for being so restrictive with their software, and in the same token remove the Snap Store from their operating system, because by doing that they're restricting us, the user. So instead of removing it, they make it hard to use. They're nudging you in a way that is not restrictive at all. So they put this big, huge disclaimer. And so chapter 2, the Snap Store in the user manual, becomes a open criticism on the Snap Store. Apparently anybody can create an APT. What's an APT, you ask? An APT, I'm going to have to define it for you because the writers of the manual don't. It's an acronym for, what does it say here? Advanced Package Tool. So an advanced package tool is a installer, for lack of a better term. It's an installer. Anybody can create a installation type system. So Snap is an installation system. App Images is one, and Flatpak is another. All these different kinds of things. So anybody can create these. And it says anyone can create APT, Advanced Package Tool repositories, and distribute software freely. Users can point to multiple repositories. Let's think of a repository as a library, as a file folder containing files that you are free to use. So repository is just a really smart sounding name. Thanks to the way that APT works, if a bug isn't fixed upstream, Debian can fix it with a patch, and if Debian doesn't, Ubuntu can, and if Ubuntu doesn't, Linux Mint can. If Linux Mint doesn't, Anyone can. And not only can they fix it, they can distribute it with a PPA. If that was confusing, it's okay. I had to read it a few times for it to all sink in. Basically, what they're saying is that it's a free and open source software. Anybody can fix it. PPA, by the way, that's another acronym, and it stands for Personal Package Archive. Do you need to know what these are? No, I've managed this far without knowing these things. All that I know is that's the software I want. I'm going to load it and put it here. And that's basically it. They go on to say in their criticism here that Flatpak isn't as flexible. Still, anyone can distribute their own Flatpaks. And if FlatHub decides they don't want this or that, anyone else can create another Flatpak repository. Flatpak itself can point to multiple sources and doesn't depend on a FlatHub. There's thousands of Flatpak repositories out there. If you search for a certain type of software for your Linux machine, there's hundreds of these repositories, if not thousands. And although it is open source, Snap, on the other hand, only works with the Ubuntu store. Nobody knows how to make a Snap store, and nobody can. The Snap client is designed to work with only one source, following a protocol which is not open, only one authentication system. Snap is nothing on its own. It can only work with the Ubuntu store. This is a store we can't audit, which contains the writing is horrible. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry for attacking the writing of the manual, but it's horrible. This is a store we can't audit, which contains software nobody can patch. If we can't fix or modify software, open source or not, it provides the same limitations as proprietary software. So the developers of Linux Mint see this technically as proprietary software distributor. And that's why they put it out. When Snap was introduced, Canonical promised it would never replace APT. This promise was broken. Some APT packages in the Ubuntu repositories not only install Snap as a dependency, but also run Snap commands as root without your knowledge or consent, and connect your computer to the remote proprietary store operated by Canonical. So technically, when you're going to download something from the Snap store and you're going to install it, you're allowing Snap to just go into your computer and create pathways without you knowing anything about it. And this is the part of the relationship that Linux Mint has issue with. So they've disabled the Snap store in Linux Mint 20. Following the decision made by Canonical to replace parts of the APT with Snap and have the Ubuntu store install itself without users' knowledge or consent, the Snap store is forbidden to be installed by APT in Linux Mint 20. So you can go back and read all this stuff anyway. And then it tells you how to install the Snap store. So them removing Snap is not a bad idea. To be honest, Snap has rarely worked well for me. So I've compared this the software that you can get on Snap compared to, well, let's just do this. Open up the software manual. There it is behind me. And we're going to open up Brave. So we're going to type in here Snap Store or Snapcraft. Snap Store brings you to Snapcraft. And there it is. You can look for all of these in Snap, and I've gone in and out of this. There's a lot of crossover. So almost almost all of the software that you can find on Snapcraft, you find on the built-in software manager in some aspect, in some regard. Um, with that comes categories. Let's have a look at some of the categories here. No. Oh, filters. There we go. So the categories here on Snapcraft: graphics, games, office, system tools, sound and video, internet. But for argument's sake, we're gonna go into games, and I'm just gonna randomly pick one here. What is this one? Next Squeeze. It's a fast-paced 3D first-person shooter game. Okay, let's see if we can find it here. I know. No, they don't. But you see this, and you see this. Single and multiplayer first-person shooter game. This is a first-person shooter game. What do you think these are similar? If not the same game, they could be. Could very well be. Let's have a look. Version 2.5.2. This one says version 2.5.4-2 blah blah blah. So they could, it's the same. Oh man, I mean, if it's not the same, it's the same game. Okay, so let's have a look at that. I think we're going to try and install this just to see how it goes. So back here on the user manual, it says here how to install Snap Store in Linux Mint 20. So this will be what you have to do before you do anything else, right? Because if I just go onto Brave and I hit install using the command line sudo snap install. So right away, as soon as you go on the Snap Store, you've given it permission to look on your computer and see that it has Snap enabled or not enabled. So it says here, installing using the command line. This is a terminal command, right? And then it says, don't have snapd get set up for snaps. So here, and it's going to send me to installing Snap. So we're going to make you install Snap if you want to use this button over here, right? But if you don't want to use that button, you can install it here. It's just crazy. So sudo snap install this game. You're asking your machine to go into Snap and install that game. That's it. Get set up for snaps. Installing the daemon. Words have power. So I'm installing the daemon. Think about that. Installing the daemon. Well, that's just that answers it for me. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not installing no daemon. No, not getting it done. So you call me crazy, but that's too much for me. I'm not installing a daemon. Here's where we're gonna go now. So yeah, I don't want to deal with that no more. So the software manager, I can turn that off too. What do we have left? We still got the store open. So this. How to install the Snap Store on Linux Mint 20, recommended or not. If you want to use the Snap Store, re-enable it, and installing it is very easy. Repository. Anyway, if you got anything out of this, I didn't. But if you got something out of this, okay. If not, oh well. The Snap Store, to me, is a last resort for software. Anyway, we'll see if we can get through the next chapter. You can't guess what the next chapter is. You want a heads up on it? Windows, ISOs, and multi-boot USB. Why anybody would even do this? I don't know. Thanks for watching.